Want to fight about it?
All right, fam, what is up? We are here for the pilot episode of the Wanna Fight About It podcast here on the Fantasy Corp, and I got a fun lineup tonight. We're going to be talking about all kinds of combat sports here on the Wanna Fight About It podcast: UFC, BKFC, PFL, everything in between, Bellator MMA, women's MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, all of it in between. But with that being said, let me introduce you to our guest.
In this corner, weighing 100.
And our red corner personality this afternoon is the one, the only Mr. Event Coordinator for all the major organizations: boxing, UFC, Bellator MMA. The man with the roots here in Philadelphia, Mr. Burt Watson himself. Mr.
All
Watson.
night long, baby.
How are you feeling it tonight, man? You still kicking it, brother. I love it. I always love your energy.
Yeah. Little disappointed about my Sixers, but
a little, man. You can
it
say
is
a
what
little.
it is. You know, let's talk MMA.
Yeah,
and
man.
and
that
Bellator.
hurts. The Philly sports is hurting my heart.
Oh, man, you know what? It hurts my heart, but it also does my heart good, because whenever you talk about sports, Philly is one of the towns you talk about. You know, regardless.
We got some stars. We got to do something to fix our hockey team desperately, and hopefully the Sixers team can retool it to kind of fix the this fallen short problem we have.
Yeah.
But like you said, we're here to talk combat sports here in the Wanna Fight About It podcast. I got my man Burt Watson. For people who don't know, Burt has been connected to all kinds of parts of combat sports throughout the years.
40
years, man. 40
yes,
years of knowledge this dude has.
Damn.
From the early boxing days to what a lot of people know him as, the quote unquote babysitter to the UFC fighters, so to speak. He's basically the event coordinator. He's the man that made everything happen behind the scenes. He's who everyone came to for the better part of it. Was 10 plus years there in the UFC, was it not?
Yeah, but now I'm pulling the reins and doing my thing with Bellator, still staying active, and still seeing the growth of this.
I'd be remiss to ask. There's a lot of circulation going on. The PFL has been trying to acquisition the promotion you're working for. I'm not asking you to say if it's true or not. How would you feel if something were like that to happen?
Well, I know what the business is.
Look at the overall landscape of combat sports. Do you think that would do good for the overall of the sport? Or playing devil's advocate here, obviously.
What I see is I've seen the development of MMA since 1999 to now, and the development has been amazing for a 20-year run to be at the level that it has gotten, and it's so much bigger than. It's a three-letter word. It's MMA. And now my affiliation with Bellator, it's still at a very high level, and anything that includes making the sport bigger and better and more visible to the fan, I'm always for that. So as long as they give me a seat on the bus and I can drive it, I'm good. Wherever Bellator decides to go, or whatever it does. Right now we're going to be in Chicago in about 2 weeks, which I'm looking forward to. But there's always a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for development, a lot of fighters. I'm disappointed that there's not more fighters from Philly, but it's a rich.
I think that the right now all the best ones at least currently reside. I believe in the UFC welterweight division, right? Jeremiah Wells, Sean Brady,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Joey Body Bags Pfeiffer. Those guys have cut their teeth on the local market,
yeah, yeah,
and kind of starting to make a run. Sean was on the brink of getting in the top five until his first career loss against Bullah Muhammad,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Bullah's an inch away from a title fight. We'll see what happens here.
But that's also my man. I kind of had a conversation with him a couple of days ago.
I
Uh,
love Bullah, man. He's
you
awesome
know,
dude. I'm glad he's getting his shot.
oh, but being from Philly, being very biased, and seeing the development of boxing in Philly from 1965, and I'm dating myself, but what the hell? I'm still rolling. And how many major boxers came from Philadelphia, and then the transition to combat sport. I was always eager because I know everybody in Philly can fight one way or another. So I just thought that it would be a bigger development than I've seen. But you know what it is? What it is? The sport is still growing, man. It's only 20 years old compared for live TV. 20 years old, but that's still growth, man. That's still growing for a sport that's been around so long, and the inclusion of all major cities, the inclusion of women, which is unbelievable. Cyborg, and and everybody else that's going along, and Liz, Gorilla. It's exciting for me to see, and I'm happy to see it, and I'm just glad I'm still a part of it, man.
Yeah, man, 40 years is some time, like you said, first cutting it up in boxing, like you said,
Yeah.
here in the backyard in Philly. What do you think about the kid? Speaking of boxing here in Philly, what do you think about the kid Ennis? You think he has a chance to make some noise and kind of really set himself up to be a star here soon?
I'm gonna get in trouble for what I say, but it's past my bedtime, and I really don't give a damn. But I just got to be careful not to say what I don't know. But I'm very disappointed in the promoters of boxing, and not the fighters.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about it, everyone's going after the content creator, not the actual boxers.
Bingo. And it's the promoters who get the platforms. It's the promoters who create the fights, who have the matchmakers, who put you on television, who put you in major events. And it is what it is. And I've been in to see, back in the day with Don King and Bob Arum, who's still doing it, and to see how they promoted. And then out of nowhere comes MMA with two promotions, and it just took over and just kind of kept rolling and kept rolling and kept rolling and kept rolling, and given the opportunity. And quite naturally, the athletes are going to go to where they're going to get the best visibility. So they gravitated toward MMA. And you know what? It was like everybody was so, I don't know what they did, but they just kind of said, oh, well, we don't stand a chance in doing this. But, they came along and are giving a shot. And as I go through now with Bellator to see some of the young talent coming up and still keeping an eye on boxing, I put it all on the promoters, plain and simple. Plain and simple.
Yeah, but also promoter, but is pandering to culture at this point in time, instead of some of these things like where you see like some of these second generational guys who probably should be getting a lot of more of the push and stuff like that, and then you hear the nonsense that we used to hear a lot of time from certain promoters before. Oh, well, they don't really sell they're not marketable. They're not this. They're not that. You know,
Yeah.
like
That used to be.
we have all these kind of arguments and oh well, this is why and that is why and
Yeah,
this is why
yeah,
this is.
yeah, and that's all crap because it used to be.
It's
Now,
excuses. Me and you know, Bert. It's excuses, brother.
hey, it's the marketing. It's the marketing of the promotion now. It was at one time that the promotion needed a fighter, and there was a time when they took young fighters who were racehorses and turned them into mules, okay, because they ran them to death. And they ran them for so long. They ran Tyson, they ran De La Hoya, they ran Sugar Ray Leonard. But then it kind of switched a little bit because television saw that there was a market, so to speak. So it opened its doors. So then there was no longer the need for just one or two guys to just move a promotion. You were able to market whoever you had within that promotion. And I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's why I stuck to what I'm doing because it got it got crazy. The only thing I would say in the last 20 years that may have been a little bit of a speed bump was COVID. Plain and simple. And that was
Yeah, I mean, it kind of kind of reset the market, so to
yes,
speak.
yes,
And only certain people survived, and you know, some people disappeared. Some people just kind of like put themselves on a hiatus, and now they're trying to rebuild and regain momentum and things like that.
yes,
You
yes.
know, I mean, like so, you know, obviously, you know, UFC did all right, and I mean, I honestly want to get your thoughts on Francis and PFL. You know, they made the announcement. You know, he a high seven figure get guarantee.
Yeah, yeah,
As guaranteed purses for his opponents. He's got a share of profits that they're going to be doing some type of PFL Africa, this, that, and the third. Obviously,
yeah, yeah.
Dana had his PR response over the last few days. What do you think? Like me and you were just talking about what's good for the sport, things of that nature. Obviously, you know, John has been on social media going back and forth with Francis, going back and forth
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Mr. Fury and things of that nature. But
yeah.
what are your thoughts on Francis finding a home? It's PFL, which for fans who are rather new, that's the old World Series of Fighting that
Yeah.
that
Well, you know
they've
what?
been around for about 10 years or so now.
I see that as I said earlier, that television has opened up and has opened its market. So what that has done is that has allowed anybody with a platform to service that market to thrive. Fighters have just started to get their, what I would say is their just due, meaning that they're becoming more aware of what the market is, their marketability, what television is looking for. And way back in the day when they came up with the Muhammad Ali Act, which was full disclosure, so to speak, where they had to broadcast what they made, how they made it, who they paid, or whatever. And that kind of educated fighters to a degree that they could make the choices, not just be placed where somebody wanted them. They could make choices. So I've always been for fighters to make the money that they can, because for some fighters that's all they do, and some of them fight twice a year, some of them fight once a year. A guy who's really struggling may get a fight 4 times a year. So I'm to see it get to that level, to see it there. I know good and well that Francis didn't go rob a bank. Okay, Francis went to the bank because the bank had money, and like anybody else, you know, fighters are beginning to read their paperwork and read the contract and see the exposure and the development. And it's also very transparent from other sports. You know, MMA is not going to pay anybody 300, 200, or 60 or 70 million dollars, but athletes are making more money today. So the guys are listening and looking, and they're putting things on the table, and promoters are responding to it. So I'm all for it, and once they get in there, they also know they got to fight, because when the lights go on, your lights got to stay on. They can get dim, but they can't go out. So that's what they want, and they're getting it, and I'm happy to see that, man. 100%.
I mean, I couldn't, like, me and you talked about it before, like, couldn't be happier for the parity in the sport. Couldn't be happier to seeing, UFC stars, going to get big paydays elsewhere. We were just talking about you're disappointed in promoters and things of that nature.
Boxing.
I gotta ask you,
promoters in boxing.
I gotta ask you. The clown prince of them all basically says that Connor basically said Nate's gonna knock Jake Paul out. Jake said he's gonna knock Nate out. Conor McGregor's backing up the fact that Nate's gonna go body this poor kid. He's the clown prince of the influencer boxer right now, right?
Yes.
I feel bad for KSI for what happened to him this past weekend with the elbow thing. That's rough.
Yeah. But what?
He's also a little bit of an attraction. We'll say it that way. But I'm
not mad at anybody. I'm not mad at anybody making money on what they.
I'm not mad at all. I just think he needs to stop picking on welterweights.
No. You know what? A fight's a fight. Matchmakers make a fight. It's for a guy or a lady to accept the fight. Now, under whatever the conditions, a guy will say, "I'll take that fight. I want $50 million." If somebody says, "Yeah, we'll give it to you," the fight is what it is. Everybody cuts weight. Everybody has to get down to a certain weight class. Right now, honestly, that guy, Jake Paul, is it?
Yeah, Jake Paul.
Whichever one of them. His name.
Logan's the wrestler. Jake's the boxer.
I got you. Well, one of them, whoever it is with the boxer, his name has become bigger than that sport almost.
That's the real sad part.
Yeah, and I said promoters. There's a reason that a guy.
No, because there's plenty of superstars that are in boxing that should be getting promoted. Not just by their promoter, but by the sport
themselves and the sponsors and others. But Oscar De La Hoya stayed in it. Bernard Hopkins stayed in it. And those are the two that I know that I worked with that are still in it. And along comes this guy with a little bit of marketing behind him, and he becomes bigger than the sport. Now, he makes challenges. That's his job, to make a challenge and to put a purse on the table. And that's for anybody to take advantage of. Nate Diaz can fight. And that kid
can take a punch.
Yeah,
that can take a punch.
That kid has also learned how to fight. So it's not ridiculous. The fact that he got in and has won the fights that he's won has made him in a position that he can challenge, and he's got the finances behind him to back it up. And with those two things in place, he could get anybody. He could do a regular fight and do an exhibition with Mike Tyson, and do a regular fight and do an exhibition with Hulk Hogan, because you know what? It'll sell and it'll happen. But you know what? You won't see guys take off the gloves, put on 4 ounces, and get in a cage, because that's a whole different world. I saw that happen once to one of my friends, and I was so hurt. You know, I saw James Toney against Randy Couture.
Randy Couture,
I
yeah.
was hurt.
I remember that era vividly, man.
And James is my man. You know, I've had James and worked with James from way back in the day. You know, so, but you know what? Even those guys were at a point where they made their own decisions, and that was kind of a start of guys calling the shots. Randy Couture could have said, "No, I don't want that fight," or James Toney could have said, "I don't want that. I want this. I want that person." But they were able to choose, make a choice, and decide. And you know what? It's sold. So that's what it is today. But nobody plays with MMA because that's a whole different world, baby.
Well,
Trust
no,
me.
I mean we've seen it. You know what I mean? We've seen very few guys make it. Brock was at the made it to the top of it and skyrockets to the bottom of it within an eye blink.
Do you know why?
What do you believe it is for?
Well, when it first started, MMA was grappling, and guys were trying to learn stand up, what they call stand up. I call it boxing because when it first started, they were doing like this because they really didn't know how to.
It's like
you
a
know,
bear claw.
they didn't know how to do that. All they knew how to do this, and when they put their hands on you, it was a war. So when Brock came in, it was his world because it was grappling, and he was a world-class wrestler in high school, in college, in Iowa, or wherever. He was world-class. But then when it came time to stand up and do this, most grapplers didn't know how to do that. But as the sport went along, they went
that Heath Herring fight fooled everyone, right?
Definitely did. But you know what? It was also one of those things where he said, you know what? I'm going to wrestle because he wrestles. So they did that. But the minute somebody took Brock and stood back and started throwing a little leather, you know, it became a whole different world.
Also matched his cardio and 3 times his pace, and that was
yes,
that was the end of it.
Yes. But you know, I mean, the guy was good. I mean, as far as grappling and wrestling, if he put his hands on you, you were done, regardless of who you were or how long you'd been in it. But you know, he decided whatever he decided, and the money got better someplace else. And he went on.
He's kind of been the company man, so to speak, since he's gone over there. Yeah, he's had some runs, relinquished titles, things of that nature. But it's definitely what was an interesting time at that point in time, Burt.
Him and my man Paul Heyman. You know, Paul's
the newer era mouth of the South.
That's my man.
Who were there during the 80s and early 90s and whatnot.
Yes, sir. But you know what? He knows what he's doing. He's good at what he does, and he knows his lane. He knows his lane, and he moves that lane 20 to 100 miles an hour, which is awesome. And there's a lot of money for everybody to make right now.
Yeah, man. But as we get ready to switch gears, you know what it is here, Burt. As we get to the end,
PG or X-rated
spotlight, where we throw the proverbial microphone over to our man in the red corner this evening, Mr. Burt Watson. Burt, appreciate the time as always, and you know how we do the things. Throw it over to you, and you would like to thank anything you would like to tell the people. Tell them where to follow you on social media, and what's the comings and goings, my friend.
Hey man, I always appreciate you. I appreciate everybody out there. You know, I'm very active on social media, and you can find me on Burt Watson for real, or Bellator MMA, which now our next show is June in Chicago. I'm very excited. Got some great guys, some great champions over there, Johnny Eblin and Liz, and a group of guys that are really rocking and rolling. But just contact me on social media. I'll definitely hit you back. As I always say, baby, your night, your fight, get it right. I'm done. Yeah!
That's my man, Burt Watson. As always, I appreciate your time, my friend.
Anytime,
always
baby.
full of energy. We're definitely going to have you back on here, and have some fun here on the future here on the Want to Fight About It podcast. Burt, as always, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Much love to you, my friend. Hopefully, our Phillies gets us something to cheer about this summer.
Hey, man, I'm going to bed. I stayed up for you. Next time,
I love you, brother. I appreciate you.
Anytime you want me, baby. Peace.
Love you, man. See you, Burt. And with that being said, as we say goodbye as we say bye to Burt, we are gonna phase right into our second guest of the evening, afternoon, morning, depending on when and where you're catching tonight's podcast. And in the red corner, Mr. Brandon Superman Allen coming off that beautiful stoppage, my friend, making another statement that's now 3 in a row. Couldn't be more excited for where things are looking for. Is it belt or bust at this point in time? That's all you want to hear in this next contract, right?
And that's it, just contract, man. I'm looking for Dak. I really want Dak. But we're gonna see what's in the making. I know he just came off of a big fight, man. So it does take time to heal up, man. Definitely in this sport. So hopefully, if not, we'll see what we can get.
So obviously, me and you first time able to catch up with you. So appreciate your time. New venture here on the Fantasy Corp here. We're going to talk a little combat sports. We're going to have a little fun, mix things up. Talk a little MMA scene as well, because there's always some fun stuff going on all levels of combat sports. Just had Burt Watson on. You're in arguably the biggest growing, fastest growing sport in combat sports right now in bare knuckle, and without a doubt has to be the biggest promotion in that side of it. With Dave Feldman is doing there with BKFC. What are your thoughts on kind of how they're mixing some of the raw talent that they've kind of cultivated over the last few years with some of these UFC vets, with some of these stars? You just seen Mike Perry basically embarrass Luke Perry right out of the sport with immediately. You had Mr. Watson run Greg Hardy over to Walmart. He didn't want nothing to do with bare knuckle no more. He said, "I'm completely done with it. I'm going to go work at Walmart."
Yeah.
So, I mean, I say it a lot on these programs. It takes a special type of fighter to be a bare knuckle boxer. What translated you to bare knuckle, and why do you think BKFC is really going to separate itself as one of the to watch sports over the next few years, over MMA, over boxing, over combat, jiu-jitsu, whatever the fill in your blank part of combat sports?
Well, let me start you off with, I came over to BKFC because of the family. I have Jared over there, Jared Ward. I got Crystal over there, Pittman, and I got David Mondale. It's just all family, and that's over in the BKFC. So why not come join the family, have some fun, some titles. And when it comes down to the BKFC, the talent that they've been bringing, I love it, man. It's just bring a bigger spotlight for everything that myself, my team, and everybody else do for the organization. So I love it. I really feel like it's gonna be bigger and better than a lot of things.
I mean, listen, I'm definitely a little bit biased. Being media member, journalist, podcast, or whatever, I try to be as as neutral as I can be, covering the sport regardless. I'm talking MMA, bare knuckle. I try to talk to everyone from the BYBYs, the BKB guys. As you see, I got Stanelee Wilson coming on after you. I talk to everyone, so I try to be as non-biased as I can. Days from Philly, I used to cover his XFE shows before CFFC bought that promotion out, and he wound up creating bare knuckle. I remember the conversations we used to have had. I remember how passionate he was about it. Could not be happier for that dude. So that being said, bare knuckle, it's not like Dave reinvented the wheel. He just re-showed us something that we deemed that long ago that this couldn't be a thing. But I mean, I think bare knuckle boxing shows you who's the real fighters are. Who MMA shows you like who are the best guys, who have the best cardio, the best wrestling. But sometimes like it's always about the styles. It's always about who's this, who's that. Like the way MMA's worked itself out, we don't see the number one lightweight in the world fighting the number one contender. So who's going to be fighting the champion? That just doesn't happen anymore. It's all about who's the entertaining matchup and things of that nature. It's never 1 versus 2 for who's going to go fight the champion.
Right. I really like the BKFC, man. Over here, it's just, everybody's climbing to the top. So you have that opportunity. You really do.
It's one of the things, you got to love about it. But it's also the infusion of some of the stars are getting some of the more eyes on you guys. You do have more opportunities being in bare knuckle compared to some of the other sports right now. As we were just sitting there talking with Burt, his biggest disappointment is boxing promoters. He's already said they literally destroyed the sport where a YouTube guy is the most popular boxer in the world right now. It's a travesty.
Yeah, that's sad. It is.
It is, but that's their own making, their own doing, and things of that nature. What you see at bare knuckle, you've already seen it already. You got 2 promoters in the same damn state who are putting on amazing fights. I said it. I hope we get to some point in time in the next 5 years or so where there's a friendly competition. We go back to like the old early Pride UFC days when you'd have promotion, have the end of year events, and having like tournament style fights to see who's really the best. 125-pound bare knuckle boxer, 135-pound female bare knuckle boxer, 155-pound male boxer from both BYB, BKFC, BKB, barbecue bear back ribs. I want to see the best fighters in those weight classes without gloves on their hands.
Wouldn't mind the UK versus the United States. I would feel like that'd be raw too. I feel like that'd be nice. Why not?
But isn't that something Dave has kind of already been developing? With purchases of overseas promotions and things of that nature.
Yeah and no. Me personally, I want a real tournament. I want a real style tournament. Let's put a roster up and let's go. That'd be nice. I really feel like that'd be nice. Top 5 from over here to there. Top 5 from over here, and let's do it.
If it's UK, it has to be the O2 Arena, right?
Yes. Why not?
I mean, like, listen, it's one of the things I always talk about with the fighters, because being professional athletes, you probably have the most unique job where you literally can fight anywhere on the planet at times. So, like, I like to ask a lot of the athletes, if you had the place that you want to have stamped on that passport that you could have a fight in, that's not your hometown, that's not in front of your fans, friends, family, etc. Where are you going? Are you going to the UK? Are you going to the O2 Arena? Are you going to Australia? Are you going to Abu Dhabi? Are you going to Thailand? Where's the dream location to fight, brother?
touched my heart when you said Thailand.
Yeah, I know. A lot. Listen, listen. Especially a lot of the guys that come from like the Muay Thai world, man. When you say Thailand, it's just like,
yeah, I want to go.
Yeah,
right. That is
right.
nice. Even Australia, I like Australia also. I like that also.
Yeah, it's one of the ones you hear a lot of the UFC guys. It's like it's one of their favorite places to kind of travel and fight to. So it's definitely not a stranger from the list when I go through it. But
Right.
now we're talking about growth. We're talking about change. We're talking about how much everything's been having this big change over the last 5 years. I got to ask you, the Francis Ngannou news broke, man, and here's the layout of it: 7 figures for him guaranteed. His opponents getting guaranteed 2 million, right? He gets a share of profits. Got a share cheat, a chairman seat. They're going to PFL Africa now, and the sponsor freedom to be able to do that again. Dana, said this with Burt, but Dana White's already come out with his basic PR response, laughing at him, making fun of it, and blah blah blah. Isn't this a kind of win for the fighters, because he basically got what he was asking for outside of some more of the medical stuff for the athletes and stuff like that? But he's actually one of these guys who actually cares to make sure what his opponent's getting fighting him.
That's very true, and I like that. I really do. I really do. I really like it. I really was hoping he even came to the BKFC, but I heard that he wanted a little too much.
Well, when you see it, like, do you think Dave Feldman's giving him a chairman's seat?
No.
No, he, as much as he likes Francis, that's not his cup of tea. He's not doing that. He's not going to open up a BKFC Africa.
No.
I mean, the sponsor thing, obviously, he could have had as many sponsors as he want. That wasn't going to be an issue. The money, I don't know. I know Mr. Feldman has a couple of silent investors with some very deep pockets. I don't think that would have been an issue.
Right. So
I don't think Dave would have been too keen on guaranteeing his opponents would have had 2 million to fight to.
Yeah.
So I said, that's where I think that's where things get lost in translation. Go ahead, brother.
I say even for 2 million, I would have hopped in there.
You're like, listen, I'm gonna come in looking like Eric Cartman to make sure we're close to weight, right?
Yeah. Why not? I would love to. 2 million, I would love to.
Now we're talking about superstars in the sport and everything like that. Did you happen to catch Conor McGregor's Netflix series yet? That that kind of depicted literally. I think it's kind of ironic. Conor gets a Netflix series and it literally covers the worst period of his professional career.
It did.
Like, we literally get an eyeful of literally all of it, from the Dolly incident with Khabib, to having to go through all the court stuff, to the injury in the first loss to Poirier, to coming back with Cerrone, that falling again to Poirier, and just the injuries and stuff like that, and then literally it just ends right as he's recovering from the broken leg before, I guess, he gets the movie role.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just interesting a thing, kind of cool behind the scenes stuff, especially if your dad, some of the stuff with him.
Yeah,
him and his
I feel like
funny. Right before the Cowboy fight, he didn't want Dad to leave, and he was so amazed that his dad's gloves on. He's like, "Dad, where'd your hands go?" Like, there was some cool stuff in it, but like, it's interesting, man. I'm surprised he was just like, I'll pay you not to air this.
Hey man, when you got money,
he's a real dude, man. Like, as much as like he wears his wins like a badge of honor, he does the same with his losses. You got to give him that.
Yeah, he does. But he only got a few, so that's why they make him so great.
Now, the other reason I asked if you watched it, because obviously he's made a foray into y'all's ring over the past month.
I'm hoping
You want all that smoke, right, brother?
I gain the weight for that. Why not? He talking about
That's easy attainable, right?
easy. He talking about 185. I'll do that. Oh, I'd put Jared though. I got a brother for that.
Now,
That.
I thought it was interesting because after this past weekend's UFC, Matt Brown is now one step closer to that UFC knockout record, and him and Connor were going back and forth on social media and basically, outside of winning, if the Michael Chandler fight happens, if he's fighting again, I'll sign me up for him and Matt Brown any day of the week.
Really? I think it'll be a wash. I don't think he'll be able to keep up.
Well, Matt?
Yeah, I don't think Matt will be able to keep up.
You really think Connor's still gonna be that guy that we've seen?
I think he got more in the tank than Matt.
I don't know. Matt's aging like fine wine, brother. You gotta admit, man, like he's
doing good. He's still doing.
Listen, he's not gonna be fighting for a belt anytime soon, or you never know. He can go on a Glover Teixeira type run and just start tearing things off in his 40s. You never know.
He's dangerous.
The sport is funny like that sometimes. You know how it is.
Yeah, he's dangerous anyway. I wouldn't take anything from him. He's at where he's at for a reason.
I'll just say like this, Matt Brown's not going to be out cardioed. He has very good defensive wrestling. His biggest thing is he likes to throw leather at guys, and I don't know if Connor is the guy to do that to, but that's another one of those ones. Like, I want to see if Connor could take somebody, because we know Matt Brown could take shots.
Yeah, he can. He can take some hella shots.
So it's like Donald Cerrone with a better chin and better striking and a bigger guy. It's kind of interesting.
I would like it. I would like to see it.
I mean, I'll sign up for the Matt Brown fight if that's a fight that happens down the road after we see McGregor and Michael Chandler, or if that fight even materializes. A lot of people making speculations about what Connor has done during his downtime since the broken leg. He's officially not in the pool. He needs 6 months of testing. They've made exemptions in the past for things similar to this nature. I think if they get 6 tests before that fight, that all's good. Actually, I think if they get 3 tests, they'll be good.
I feel like that too. But Connor looked good though. He honestly looked good. I gotta give it to him. It looked like he's in very good shape.
Yeah, I think it's been what? It's been 2 years almost, right?
Yeah, he looked good, man. Gotta give it to him. Look like he's in hella shape.
Now, here's the thing: should he be fighting at 70 or should he be fighting at 85 moving forward?
Yeah, he need to come down. I feel like he need to come down because those guys kind of thick up there, man.
Because I mean, he has gotten a little puffy, but he actually looks good with that weight he has on him.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's not a really big guy, so
yeah. I would say about
what made Connor special was that in and out speed.
Yeah.
But with the fact that where that break was, the fact that he's got steel rods in now, I think that actually helps him in that area. I don't think he's going to be throwing a whole lot of kicks with that leg anymore. Yeah. But I don't think he's going to have any problem checking them anymore.
If there's nothing but steel in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's going to have no. Well, no, because everyone was ripping him up in the second Poirier fight that he wasn't checking kicks. All right. I don't think he's going to have any problem checking kicks with steel rods in his leg now. Now, I want to ask you this one, right? So, we're in the area of all the superhero stuff. I just seen Seth Rollins is now on the set of the new Captain America, right? Okay. That's just shooting. If you could if you could pick yourself, DC, Marvel, whatever, I don't know, you could be Star Wars guy, you're a Mandalorian guy, whatever. If you could pick yourselves, I guess, your nerd franchise, cartoon franchise, whatever. If you could pick yourself a character, who would you cast yourself as?
Superman. Why not DC? I'm going DC.
All right, DC needs a Superman right now. They let Henry go.
Yeah, why not? I think I could do it.
James Gunn ain't afraid to push the envelope, obviously,
yeah,
right?
Why not? Why not? Why not? I think we look just alike.
Hey, listen, we've seen different runs of different things done in comics. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Let's do it, man.
They need me. They need me right now.
Yeah, we got to see what's going to happen with this new Flash. Are you happy that we get to see Michael Keaton Batman one more time?
I do. I like it.
We should have got a third movie, man, because both of Batman and Batman Returns were good movies.
They were.
And that's kind of been like the downfall since then. They haven't been able to put more than one or two together since then.
Yeah, man, this is crazy. Yeah, man. So I'm so ready to get back into the fight game, man. Hopefully I can get a contract soon and I can get my way back in there.
When are you looking to get back in there? Are you trying to get back in there before summer's over?
Man, I'm hoping they got a card coming down here in Tampa, July 14th. Hopefully I can get on there. Like I said, for Dak, if he can't, hopefully I can get somebody that got a nice name to themselves. So I can keep pushing my name up. I don't want to just keep picking too much low-hanging fruit because then, it just doesn't.
Get the belt if you had to pick yourself.
Exactly.
Huh?
So hopefully I can get somebody. Like I say, I know Kai and Lou, they already lined up. I think Howard, he's already lined up. So I'm just in limbo. So hopefully I can get something pretty soon because I'm itching because I wasn't able to stay in too much longer. The last one.
I guess his chin didn't check out, huh?
Not at all, man. But hey, man, good sport though, man. Everybody in the camp knew he was just too young. He didn't have enough experience. But like I say, man, hats off to the young man. And I hope he get back on the horse and keep going. That's for every fighter, man. I hope that for every.
What about tonight? Is there a must watch that people should be checking out tonight?
Oh, that Smith fight, please. I'm waiting for it.
What about the Taylor Starling Wong fight? Is that catching your eye at all?
I think that one's over. That was over. I think Starling lost that one. Before I got on here, I think she lost. Yeah, she got.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Nothing
against Taylor, just can't say I'm surprised, man.
She got dropped with an overhand right. I'm like, big overhand right. So
it's
hopefully
rough,
she gathered the points. I don't know. It didn't look like it. She couldn't stop the overhand right for nothing. She couldn't. It was bad. But she kept on the outside. She kept a good distance. She kept a good pace. But I felt like she was scared to engage when she got hit very flush like she did. It knocked some of the fight out of her.
You still think she's a little gun shy after Miss Vieira?
Yeah. It's hard to come back from things like that. When you taste real power, it's hard to shake back from something like that. It takes time.
Britt did it pretty good. Bret Hart did it pretty good, man.
Yeah, she did, but
but like we said, there's
a different breed. Different breed.
Yeah, exactly. Like we talk about it. There's special ones.
Yeah, special ones, man. Like I tell my kids, even in sports, man, sometimes you just gotta bite down. You gotta bite down on the mouthpiece, and you just gotta die on the shield.
All right, someone who's blind to BKFC, right? Totally ignorant. I'm just coming off to you like you're like, oh, I'm a BKFC. All right, who's the Mike Tyson of BKFC right now? if you had to sit there and put that moniker, the knockout, the guy that is gonna check someone's chin and put them on the canvas, regardless if they stay on the canvas or if they're gonna be stiff on the floor. Who do you say deserves that moniker in BKFC right now?
I'm not a person to toot people horns, but I give it to Juggernaut. I give it to
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, man. Like, yo, when you stretch Mike Richmond like that, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
like I say,
man.
don't got the most knockouts in the BKFC. So I gotta give it to him if that's the case. So I gotta give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, the Juggernaut, man's
you gotta respect it. Like that's why it's weight
but
class.
also, like, not only like has he been there for a while, but like he's fought. He's pretty much fought everybody you need to fight in
not everybody
in 2 weight classes, not
everybody.
1 but 2 weight classes.
Not everybody. Not everybody. He need to sign that contract for Jared at 185. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Why not?
What are your thoughts on what's going on in heavyweight? Ben Rothwell wants the heavyweight division moved up. Adams wants his rematch. It seems like Belcher's sitting in between both, trying to get the best of both worlds. He wants either the best contract or there's other stipulations. I don't know what's going on. What's your feeling? What's going on in that heavyweight division over there, brother?
I feel like it's a lose-lose. I feel like it's a lose-lose for him. Cause I feel like if you fight the Boogeyman again, he's gonna get his belt back. Adams, he was being too cocky, got arrogant, and got caught. So, and that's what happens. So, I feel like it'll be a tighter game, and he'll know what to do, so he'll be able to get his belt back. But if Belger does that, that's a lower pay cut. Everybody knows that. But if he fights Ben, most likely you may lose, but it's a bigger payday. So why not lose my belt and still get paid more?
Is it crazy?
Alan
Belcher fought in the UFC at 185 pounds, and he's hanging with BKFC heavyweights at this point in time. Almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
Combat sports is a crazy world, brother. Right?
You gotta respect it. You still gotta respect it.
Now, obviously, we don't got a whole lot of females that are answering the BKFC bill. Obviously, Christine's kind of running out of girls to beat up at 125 pounds. It's an interesting time. We were just talking about greatest and goats and everything gets thrown around. If we could rewind 10 years, you think Chris Cyborg would have did BKFC instead of messing around with Muay Thai and boxing for almost 10 years as MMA was basically shunning her?
Yeah, I think so. And it would have been so much better for her. She would have she showed.
I think that would have been fitting to her. I mean, I do believe she said she's interested. I do believe says before she's retired, she will do a bare knuckle fight. I do hope it's with BKFC, being as they've already had Bellator fighters cross promotion over into the BKFC. So I think it's just a matter of who and when.
I already know who. Give her the champ. Give her the champ. If she want to come over, give her the champ. Give her a great welcome.
What? What are we also going to be like drowning Chris with Christina Frieri with water to get them to be even close to that? I mean, what she's fighting and that would be like what 3 weight classes, right?
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Chris was very adamant of having very much troubles getting down to 35. I don't know. I mean, I know Christine would do it. Maybe they just do a catch weight and you just get Christine as close to like 130 pounds and get Chris as close to under 140, and I think you you might get a commission to agree to a catchweight fight there.
150.
Well, listen, if
That'd be
that's what it takes, sign me up all day
that'd
long.
be a
You
plug
know,
out like
people who don't follow Muay Thai the way it is, both of those girls fought for Lion Fight. They have both been around each other. I would love to see that fight because Christina Frieri kind of resides there in Las Vegas for quite some time for a lot part of the early part of her career. So
yeah.
would not be surprised if they've trained together. Would love to have been a fly in the wall in those training rooms then, but that'd be a fun one. I mean, obviously the actual female goat at the time, Amanda Nunes, would be kind of the dream one that you would any BKFC fan, female combat sports fan would love to see her do that as well.
I would even like Holmes.
Another one who I thought would have done real well would probably have been Gina Carano too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, no one's mentioning Ronda.
No, you better not. You better not.
Listen, she did a lot. She did a lot for women's combat sports. So I mean, I don't like to throw too much shade because literally her judo was so Olympic level that she literally ruled MMA with an iron fist for 3 years with the best grappling in the world.
Yeah, but until they just knew like, don't let her grab you. Then it was over.
Yeah, well, Holly Holm opened that door up. You know what I mean?
She did.
That people also tend to forget Holly was a world-class boxer who has probably one of the best footwork in combat sports, let alone MMA for a female at that weight class. So yeah, she was gonna get messed up, and Amanda Nunes, like, stop playing with me, like,
yeah.
And then people want to get mad at her for running to the WWE. Or anyone who paid attention to any of those documentaries they did on her, the stuff on earlier, that's not a surprise that she ran to wrestling. It's probably where she should have been in the first place. It's just it just so happens that she was fighting and wound up MMA was taken off, so she went wrestling. Rowdy was her nickname long before she ever stepped into a cage. She was supposed to be a wrestler. We just happened to get 3 years of some of the her top work, and the fall was just as incredible. It was the same thing I was sitting there saying to Burt. We got Brock Lesnar, who literally ruled the sport with an iron fist for about 1.5 years and fell spectacularly.
Yeah, he did.
But it's one of these things like, they weren't meant to be here. That's not where these athletes came from. But that doesn't mean they didn't deserve a spot. That doesn't mean to say that while they were there, they weren't the best at this or that or this. They were world champions, both of them.
Right.
But they were also both one trick ponies. That trick was pretty damn spectacular. It just when someone figured out how to beat that great trick that you have, it just doesn't work in MMA.
Right.
When we're talking about other sports, like like your sport, for example, a lot of people like to throw, oh well, they're just brawlers. There's nothing technical about what you guys do. Is that something that kind of just like you guys are just ignorant? You don't know what the F you're talking about. Just more fanboy nonsense.
I hear a lot of people say that. It's not too much technique. For some guys, don't get it wrong. Some guys, they don't actually know what they're doing. Then you have some that are elites, and that's why we are what we are. We separate ourselves. And I hate that we have to separate ourselves like we do, but we have to.
It's the rough part about it, man. When you're still part of the growing sport, right. MMA, we're not even 30 years in. Boxing for that's like, had it all its respect and lost all itself within 100 years.
Look how long it took, though.
What was that?
I said, look how long it took. Man, I blame the fighters on that, though. That's from them ducking each other, just wanting bigger paydays. They're not trying
No,
to
I think
anymore.
all this can be cleaned up. You do away with a bunch of the titles. You make the handful of big promoters that you have sign into some mutual agreement contract. Shut them the f up. Have them all fight, and we don't. And maybe the promoters lose some money on this event and that event and whatever. But at the end of the day, your product is overall better, and you're
Right.
all going to be stinking freaking rich at the end of it. You do some type of revenue sharing. You make some freaking thing happen. You do away with some of the nonsense belts in it. You add a few weight classes in it, and you really invest in some of the female weight classes, and really, like, you have guys that could be superstars. You have Hakeem Rockman Jr.'s fucking kid there. You got Kinsey Morrison, Tommy Morrison's son there. Why aren't these guys being promoted? I don't freaking know. Heck, half the freaking other sports that have similar situations know how to do that. The NFL has been doing nothing but that over the last 5 years, watching former Hall of Famers and former multiple-time All-Pro Bowlers kids make it into the NFL, and they do nothing but promote these guys. Look at the MLB. Hell, the Toronto Blue Jays is half their baseball team is former Major League All-Stars.
Right.
So it's like when you sit there and see that from other sports and watch what boxing strangling themselves because of greed, you can do nothing but point and laugh anymore. You can, because it's just like you're watching the donkey show. You can't help but sit there and just your face get red and laugh at it.
It's crazy. Yeah, those guys.
It's why some of these other things have been able to succeed. It's why MMA has been able to get big. It's why all the stars who would have been great in boxing are running to other sports, or are running to ran to MMA for the past 10 years. It ain't because the money is great, it's because they don't feel like wasting their time, and they're not going to get those paydays because they know how the system works over in boxing. So they go and try to make it to the UFC. But that's also why I think BKFC is special now too.
Yeah, BKFC, man. Dave Feldman treats us right. I gotta give him that. He really does treat us right when it comes down to fighting for him. Like you said, you put on a show, you do good by him, he gonna do good by us. So.
I mean, I'm definitely biased. We got Eddie Alvarez there, and I got some Philly love in there. I'm definitely happy. You know what I mean? When you're seeing some of these guys, but the reason why Dave's doing this is get some of the attention on the guys like you that not everyone might know.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the special things that I want to see continue to happen. Do I want to see the UFC guys? Absolutely. Hell, I hope they put you in there with some UFC level guy, Bellator level guy. You wind up toasting them out in another 57 seconds, and you wind up building your star status. Like we sit there and talk. We were just talking about the McGregor thing. He sit there and just made Dustin Poirier's life over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Made that man's life. Nate Diaz was able to walk away with the UFC because of the backing he had off of the money he made off the McGregor fights.
Yeah.
I want to see people like that get involved in BKFC, and it's almost like when we're talking about the role that Brock Lesnar has of wrestling now, where he's the veteran now that is helping guys get over. That's something you want to see. You want to see. Somebody like that. Well, Francis is now leaving, things like you want to see some of those stars give back to the guys like you, like not necessarily everyone might not know it or whatever. Like if you could pick one, anyone in MMA right now that would come over to BKFC and that would be a great fight for you, who would it be?
Ooh.
That's my setting my off on you. Oh my friend.
I like the fight the what's his name, Funk Master.
Oh, Algio. It's funny you talked about that because he was great what was it, a week or two ago? Got his big fight with Sugar Shane O'Malley. Aljamain Sterling is one of the best bantamweights in the world, man. Upper New York State guy, Sarah Longo guy. Definitely would love to see that fight. That's a fun one more.
Yeah.
What was it Connor said? Sign me up, right?
Sign me up.
Sign me up. All right. So as we get ready to roll things up there, my friend, we're gonna kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Right where we throw the microphone over you. Anything anything you kind of would like to touch on, shoot at your social media sites, any sponsors you might have, anything you would like to let the people know. The time is yours, Superman.
Any sponsors, please come see me, come support me. You can hit me on Brandon Superman Allen on IG. That's all I got for social media. I'll be back soon. Come watch your kid. Let's get it.
Yes, man. We gotta work on that social media game. Get you up on Twitter, things of that nature. Get
I'm
you
not
out
big
there.
on
We gotta build that brand up, brother.
I'm not big on social media. Like my
Yeah, but see,
IG,
here's the thing: you can put the account out there and just link it to your IG. You don't even really, you know what I
boom.
mean?
Just for that, I'm gonna do it for you.
All right, brother. Well, definitely appreciate the time, my friend. We're definitely going to catch up. Hopefully, you get something lined up ASAP.
Yes,
That
sir.
was a definitely one to remember after the last one, my friend. So
I
definitely
appreciate
appreciate it. We'll catch up with you, my friend. All right. With that being said, we're gonna switch gears here. We're going into our third and final guest of the evening. So
Fighting out of the red corner.
in the red corner tonight, my man, all the way from across the pond, Mr. Stanelee.
I'm doing.
What's up, brother? How we feeling tonight, brother? Or
I'm,
this
I'm,
morning,
I'm doing,
right?
feeling good. I've literally. I mean, it's 20 to 4 here. I've only just come in from work, so
Cracking it up early. Appreciate the time, my friend. A lot of fun stuff going on in the combat sports world. A lot of stuff going on in the bare knuckle world. You know, you got big KFC going on over here in the States. You got a big one coming up real soon. Why don't you let the fam know what's going on, where you're gonna be fighting, and where can we catch it? Where can we get tickets at, brother?
so I am on Sunday. It's BKB 32, O2 Arena, London. I'm sure there's still tickets available if you go on the BKB website. But yeah, I can't wait. Get back in. It's been since October since I fought. I wasn't pleased with my performance in my last run. I lost some points, so I've got a big statement to make, and then try and get myself a fight across the pond.
Now, what is the craziest thing? Like, I know, like, you reach out to me for these things, like when you do these interviews, like do you always have to have these crazy time differences, like when you're
To
doing
be fair,
media for even BKB, what are some of the, I guess, craziest things you've come across? Because over, what was it, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, you had some crazy amateur boxer in the in the press conference trying to fight Nate Diaz's brother. Like, what are some of the craziest questions you've ever been asked?
I don't really get asked the crazy questions. To be fair, I'm normally the one that sort of sits by and just listens to what other people are getting asked. That's a good question. I have to be honest with you, mate. I off the top of my head, I don't know. But I mean, there has been some crazy or silly stunts that's been done. I mean, like one of my first fights for BKB, I come out like my walkout. I was on a rocking horse that was on wheels, and I was being pulled out. Like silly little things like that. But as far as like people questioning me, I've never really had anything majorly crazy.
That's thankful. I mean, I just think it's just kind of odd. Like we're getting to the point where like almost anyone's getting media credentials, and you see like silly stuff like that all the time. It's just like,
But the thing is, it's always going to be, because whether it's good, funny, or whatever, it gets people talking about it. So people are always going to try and push the boat to get the spotlight to spin on them.
Bridge with one guy just so like you get more clicks, dude. Like, come on. Like,
Well,
is
yeah.
Like we talk about it all the time about the journalistic integrity. Like even when we do this, like how I try to stay as neutral as we possibly can. Like, it's even more so like when got into it with a guy. A couple months back where guy was trying to hustle me for money for an interview. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? We don't.
You know what? I actually see, because obviously we're friendly on Facebook, so, and I actually see you put it on there, and I was reading it. I was like, for the sake of $100, or was it $100, $200? He was asking
it was
for
$100. It was $100, brother.
Yeah, and I was like, really?
That's the ongoing joke. Listen,
you're claiming to be like the next big thing. I'm sure I read he mentioned something about the UFC, and you're trying to get $100 to get
dude, and then
to go on someone that's going to push your career. I mean, no. If anything, we should be subscribing to you and then sending you a couple of dollars.
I think that's the way it works. Like when we're talking about athlete, media, journalists, whatever, like we're supposed to all be supporting each other. If you guys are making a post not just about fighting, but your sponsors, your charities, whatever, we all should be sharing that. Just like when we go out with links, like, now, I don't expect you to share every show or listen to every show, but whenever you come across it, yeah, I hope you throw a like, I hope you throw a share, whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
supposed to have a give and take.
But it's not just like give or take. It's just a good thing to do to help, especially like a platform that you're doing. Because you're obviously not just concentrating on bare knuckle fighters or MMA. You're getting combat fighters together. So
that's why I love talking to all you guys, because all you guys have different perspectives. You're all doing different things. You come from different backgrounds. Like I just had Pat. Brandon on. Kid from down there in Miami. Just had Burt Watson on. He's got 40 years of combat sports experience under his belt. You're another one, and then you also got some news that I seen come across your timeline. You got, so we're just talking about the Conor McGregor documentary. There's somebody doing some film work on you. Is that right?
Yeah. So I mean, we started filming last week. We did a couple of hours last week, and then obviously he's followed me with the build up of this fight, which, I mean, it's quite surreal, because I mean, I like being centre of attention at the best of times. When you've got stuff like someone following you with a camera, I mean, I wouldn't say 24/7, but he spent most of this week with me, and obviously, like, I've got to go into London tomorrow and do the press conferences and all that. He's coming to that. He'll be at the fight, and then he wants to film after the fight. But I mean, it's not just about the fight. It's about like how fighters, their mentality are, what they think about the fight, or what their families think about the fight. So I mean, I'm looking forward to getting it done, finished, and watching it. But yeah, no, it's quite good, because obviously, like, people are seeing me talking to this camera or the camera following me, and they're thinking, oh, who's that over there? I mean, we was in the cafe the other day, and like, we was filming, and at one point I had to like stand up in the cafe and go, guys, you haven't got to be quiet, just do what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Just go about your normal day. We are filming, but it's a documentary. We're not filming for anything specific. So like there was actually people telling people on their table to be quiet because they were filming. I was like, no, be normal. So I mean, yeah, it was good. Like I say, I'll be very interested to see where it goes, and I mean, if it goes anywhere. But the experience has been really good.
Hey man, it's one of those things where you get to be in a situation like that. You take it for what it's worth, and you see where it goes. So
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But yeah,
now,
no, like I say, the guy he'd come to work with me. He's come round to the house. He spoke to my kids. So like just getting different perspectives of what a fighter goes through. Like on the build up to a fight, and then like after the fight, he wants to film a few hours after the fight, like a few days after, just to see if I've won or lost and how it's affected me, like mentally and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not just a documentary for this fight. I think he's just trying to cover all
just like the
bases.
overall behavior of an athlete. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That I could have saved us 5 minutes by just saying that. But yeah, but yeah, it's really good, and it's something that I'll always have for the kids to watch when they're older, and say, look, someone thought your dad was good enough to do this, so that's nice.
Listen, man, if you're able to get involved in those situations, and that not just that, like exactly you're saying, you're able to you're going to be able to share that with grandkids and like that. Listen, they did a documentary on Pop. What?
Yeah,
Why?
definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
let's watch and find out.
Yeah, I'll have to get the scrapbooks out.
Now, I was talking about this with Brandon, and I came across this one, right? So apparently, wrestler Seth Rollins was seen on the set of the new Captain America movie, right? If you're able to put yourself in any big franchise, Fast and the Furious, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, whatever, hell, you could be a Lord of the Rings guy, maybe you're a Game of Thrones guy. What if you could put yourself in any one of these big franchise acting roles or whatever, and give yourself a character? Who is it, and where would you cast yourself?
So I would be Sons of Anarchy, and I would be Opie's little brother.
Opie's little brother. Oh, I love it. Love it. So you're gonna reboot the franchise?
Hopefully, I mean, I'm not sure, but there was talk that they was doing a prequel of the first 9. So that'll be interesting if I can get to see that.
I heard rumors about that. I don't know anything with that Charlie Hunnam. I don't think they're gonna get a whole lot of people involved.
No.
That's the problem. You killed him off, so
yeah, but have they killed him off?
Did you
see a body?
You can sit there and say that he swerved last minute and just totaled his bike and made them find a body, whatever, and he rode off into the sunset.
Well,
have to show up 20 years later on the run.
Yeah.
They should do something, man, because I feel like they could do a lot more. I mean, look what The Walking Dead's about to do. They're about to launch like 3 different spin-offs in the next 2 years.
See, I've never watched Walking Dead.
See, I didn't either until it finally all aired and everything came out, and I'm like, wait, how do you leave people here with all these?
So my wife, she's a big Walking Dead fan. I'm petrified of zombies. So I won't watch it.
So we found something that the athlete is scared of.
Zombies and spiders. Nah, I'm out. I'm out. Leave me to it. I'll get in a ring or a cage and fight any man on the planet. Put a spider in the room, I'll shit my pants.
So Halloween, zombies is a no-go around you, huh?
Oh no. Anything else I'm fine with. Zombies is the no.
What's the craziest thing you ever did? Somebody try to mess with you as they were zombied or whatever.
So obviously I work security in a nightclub. And Halloween's like one of our big nights, if you like. And I remember one guy trying to jump out to scare me, and he got dropped. He got dropped pretty quick. That was fun, trying to explain to his friends that
can't do that to him.
Yeah, Well, he jumped up in front of a guy that knows how to throw a right hook, and it was a bit silly.
All right, I got a few more before we get ready to wrap this one up. The new thing running around is apparently Deontay Wilder thinks he's the knockout artist of boxing, right? So a lot of people still feel Dynamite Kid, Mr. Iron Mike Tyson is without undoubtedly the KO king of boxing. He's the most terrifying individual we've seen in the last decade in professional boxing. Where do you stand on this, Mr. Wilson? Is this Iron Mike, no doubt?
Without a shadow of a doubt, I don't even think there's a genuine debate there.
Why do we keep hearing this discussion? It just seems like it keeps rearing its head over the past.
It's because you've got so many people that are armchair fans that don't actually know their history or study of the art. Deontay Wilder isn't a boxer. He is a one-punch machine. So to say that he's the hardest hitting boxer in the world is absolutely abysmal. Mike Tyson wins that hands down. There's not an argument there. Not for me, anyway.
I mean, I'm with you. I could be biased or whatever. I mean, I think Mike's list alone, like regardless of all the other stuff, man, his list alone just kind of speaks for itself. I think
exactly that.
I think it's a redundant conversation. It really is. It's clickbait stuff. It's stuff to cause arguments between fans.
Yeah, and I totally agree with it. Totally agree with it. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't like to be on the end of any one of them two punching me. But there's not a discussion of who the better boxer is, without a shadow of a doubt. And even like for matching power, I'd still have Tyson winning that.
And it doesn't matter if it's Iron Mike or Dynamite Kid. I think Mike wins either one of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which era Mike. It could even be biting ear Evander Holyfield Mike. I still think he still wins that. And it's nothing to take anything against Wilder. I just think the quality of guys that Mike was fighting and who they were fighting and the styles that they were fighting was just so much superior to the guys that he's seeing now. Yeah. I could be ignorant on it. You could sit there and say that, but I'm not discrediting anyone Wilder's fault either. Just you look at that list, you can't argue it. You cannot. Not just that, you just go and look at the tape itself and just watch them. Not just that they were knockouts. It's how he did it too.
Yes.
Like some of that stuff is just unreal.
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here.
When you see some of those clips, it's like when we're watching Muhammad Ali dodge like freaking 20 punches in 15 seconds. You know what I mean? It's like on those like Wilder doesn't have that tape to be able to sit there and say that.
So I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here. I would say Deontay Wilder didn't hit harder than Tommy Morrison. Let him know.
See, now you're tugging at my heartstrings again, man.
So, mate, listen, I'm a fan, for me, Tommy Morrison had the best left hook I've ever seen.
The fight that never happened and all the bullshit that goes on behind that.
Yes.
Have you been able to connect with Trisha yet, man?
With who?
With Morrison's widow.
No.
She has a court case coming up at the end of the year. Trying to get some of this legal stuff situated that Tommy never had HIV, all this stuff.
Really?
There's a lot of nonsense going on behind the scenes between media, a doctor that wasn't really a doctor, Quest Diagnostics, and the Las Vegas Athletic Commission, because Mark Ratner was said to have been at this meeting, and Mark flat out said, I was never there. I never said that. All he keeps saying to Trisha is keep digging. That's all Mark Ratner will say on the subject.
It would be interesting to see that come out.
I'm telling you, literally, when you get a chance, go and just type in Trisha Tommy Morrison. Watch some of the interviews some of the stuff she's done, dude.
Yeah, no, I
Your
definitely will.
jaw
I
will hit
definitely will
the
be
F.
reading up on that.
What's that?
Definitely will be read. I will be reading up on
Oh
that.
yeah, definitely, dude. It's one of those ones where, like, you know how we talk about how dark and scary the sport is sometimes, right?
Yeah,
It takes it to a whole nother level, and not just that, the people around Tommy, the people around controlling boxing at that time. It just shows you how dirty and disgusting the sport is at times.
well, yeah. Even over here, it's so corrupt. I mean, it's
Well, I mean,
it's
the UK
scarily.
isn't as bad as the Americans as far as corruptness goes. I mean,
But
obviously there's
over
corruptness,
here,
but
it's
we
corrupt
take it
right
to a
down to
whole
the
nother level.
amateurs. But I think that's a conversation for another night, isn't it?
Yeah, man, we'll be sitting here talking for another hour, brother.
But
The scandals and stuff we can talk about. Oh man,
I don't.
But let me real quick here just get a quick word from one of our sponsors. And belts, my friends. But Stan, I know, documentary fights coming up on Sunday. How you looking to spend your summer? Win, lose, or draw. Are you trying to get back in there again?
So
I know we're getting to the end of the line. Last handful of fights here. With
for me, Steve, I will carry on fighting until the next time I'm beat. So the next time I get beat, that's when. That's it. I'm done.
I hate seeing guys going out like that. I really do. I think,
but I've put so much into this fight camp. If my opponent at the weekend beats me, he's beat the best version of me. So I've got nowhere to go, and that's my mentality at the minute. I'd like to think that I've still got what I used to have. I mean, I've been a pro now for 15 years, so it's definitely starting to take its toll on my body. But like I say, at this training camp, everything's been perfect. I've had no injuries. I've had a good solid camp. I'm fit. I feel fit. So if he does beat me, then that's when it's time to really sit down and think, right, well, maybe it is time to let go. Because what I don't want to do, Steve, is have that one fight too many and something really bad happens.
Yeah, that's the one we worry about. Like, I like to tell everyone to, look at guys like Gary Goodridge, man, because of how things were earlier on in the sport. Some of the style fights that he was in and stuff like that. And he has severe CTE,
Yeah. So, I mean, at the moment,
and we see it a lot of times in boxing in general where, you just take one punch in the wrong spot, you land the wrong way, and you're something coming out of your worst nightmares.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, at the minute, everything's like functioning well. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to stop. But there's got to be a time when you say,
yeah, I know, like, we get to a point in time when your body was like, okay, oh man, it's time to shut her down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's quite weird because I mean, obviously, I'm only 37, and in the heavyweight division, I'm probably still one of the youngest. But I've been doing it for so long at such a high level, that like my body's screaming at me, like, just stop.
Please, old man, give me a break.
Yeah.
Just a couple weeks. Just a
Take up
couple weeks,
bowling or
please.
something.
No, I hear you, dude. Like I'm like, dude, like 42, gonna be 43, and just it's sometimes, man, it's just like it's rough. Like I'll be just doing simple stuff. It's like, man, am I this sore? I didn't even do anything. I'm just like, I just get mad. I'm like, can I go back like just 5 years? I don't even need to give me 10. Just give me 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Like things
No.
crack and things pop. It's like, man, like I guess this is how Tom Brady felt all the last 2 years of his career.
Yeah.
But it's one of these things. Like I already say like it's a dangerous thing too, because when you get in the sport for so long, and you might have gotten in and older, but sometimes it's just a perfect storm of put the time in there and gaining this knowledge and developing these skills to the point of when your body also starts falling apart. So you have to play this fine line. We see, like, you look at Glover Teixeira's run. He finally got in the UFC. He was like 37, 38 years old. 41, 42 years old, winning a belt. Like, those are some of those stories. Like, for real, that should be the next Disney story that they make about an MMA guy, is Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
I
totally agree.
A Brazilian guy too. On top of that, oh, that's a double whammy. That's gonna be a money maker for Disney. But I mean, it legit's a great story, because like he didn't get in until late. Those are some of those Hallmark movie type things that you talk about. Like it's one of those stories that you love to hear, especially in combat sports.
Yes. Yeah. No. So, mate, I don't disagree with that. And you know what? It couldn't have been like, if they was to make it, they couldn't do it for a nicer guy either.
Oh, that's the other thing too. But the other side of it is where he came from. He was basically Chuck Liddell's training partner for the better part of 10 years, like this little diamond in the rough. Like, can you imagine the beginning of that career, just sitting there, like you're just watching them doing like a montage of like Chuck Liddell destroying guys, and Glover's kind of the guy in the background getting them ready for fights. Like, dude, that's like stuff we're talking about, what we're watching with Michael B. Jordan putting out there with Creed and all that that stuff. Like, it's a great story, but it's a real effing story, man. And I think that's some of the stuff that combat sports has, that it's just some of the stuff in other sports, it feels like a fairy tale, but some of the stuff we hear on this, it's real. It's legit. It's some of the stuff you love to hear, some of those feel good stories that you don't see too often. I hopefully, the next big UFC fighter I want to see win a fight is Bullah Muhammad, win that welterweight title.
Has that fight been made now then?
He's the number one contender, basically, after whatever happens between Colby Covington and Leon Edwards. He's the next guy in line for now.
Yeah.
Because we all know that fight isn't going to happen for another 2 months?
Because are they not trying to bring Leon Edwards back to...
Yeah, they're trying to bring it back to the UK, yeah.
Yeah, in June, I believe it is.
So...
June or July.
So we're within 2 months, but we're right around there. Within the 2 months. So Bullah just fought 3 weeks ago now. So he's going to have to wait almost 3 months, and then, God forbid, they're in a war, and whoever wins that fight is injured. So he may wait almost 9 months to fight.
Yeah, of course.
And then you have the risk of then the UFC always turns back to these guys. Hey, you want to fight the next number one contender just to stay busy from now till then?
Well, they did it to Leon Edwards for a long time, didn't they?
I know.
I mean, that's why he ended up fighting Nate Diaz, just to stay busy.
Yeah.
And that nearly ended badly.
It's one of these interesting things. There's so much difference in stuff that goes on in all different aspects of combat sports. There's parity going on in MMA that we haven't seen at any point in time over the last 15 years. So it's an interesting time. We just seen Francis Ngannou signed that great contract with PFL, basically almost getting just about everything he asked from the UFC from PFL.
Yeah, but
because
is he not in charge of the African?
So have fun.
Is he not in charge of the African division? Or I mean, I did read something about it.
They were already doing those type of things long before Francis came in the picture. That's part of their model that they were coming up with when they were doing World Series of Fighting that people tend to forget. That's been a part of their business model since they were created. It's not a new thing, them doing PFL Africa. It's nothing new. And all it is they put a big superstar behind it to promote it.
Yeah.
Hell, you never know. Francis may find the next Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, I read somewhere today that he's pushing to fight Tyson Fury again. I'm not sure when.
All right, so basically, because of the contract talk, started a little talk between Francis and John. Then, because of the talk between Francis and John, that Mr. Fury got involved, and then there's whole three-way triangle, them talking crap to each other. Oh, you come to this side of the street. No, you come to this side of the street. Then Tyson, then Joe Rogan kind of comes up and throws a freaking firecracker into the entire pot, basically sitting there saying John Jones would absolutely destroy Tyson Fury in a street fight. I'm like, oh no! So you've literally, Joe Rogan is literally thrown an entire barrel of kerosene on the fire.
Yeah. But I suppose that will give him something to talk in his podcast, won't it?
Listen, I mean, in a street fight, John Jones, I mean, listen, he's a freak of an athlete. He was already insanity. He's beaten down a mugger before he won his first title. I mean, and also all the nonsense that he did outside of the cage.
Yeah.
Pretty reckless. We all know Tyson's a gypsy and things of that nature, and they do things differently. They have a whole different way. I get that. I do. John's still a special effing athlete, and probably one of the most special fighters that we've seen almost ever. The run that he has done, who he has beaten, how he has beaten him. As we talk about Mike Tyson, John Jones is the absolute GOAT of combat sports over the last 10 years. You can say what you want to say about him outside.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
You can take away whatever you want. And then now he's talking about after Stipe, he may be done because there is nothing in there in the UFC heavyweight division that interests him. Can't really argue with that, but that's what the UFC gets for not building up their divisions. We've been talking about this before. As soon as they get done with they don't promote that division anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Tom Aspinall.
Basically, Demetrius Johnson for peanuts. And he's the best lightweight fighter that we've ever seen for the men's division.
Yeah.
Or flyweight. I said lightweight. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. But speaking about the heavyweights, I'd like to see Tom Aspinall get a shot at John Jones. I mean, I just think, bar obviously Stipe and John Jones, I just think he is the next best one. I know he got that injury early in
the John Jones fight is outside the UFC. The UFC has been known to drop the balls in super fights, and that's what it's going to take, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate, but I know we're a little bit past it. I trying to have a new format here on the Wanna Fight About It podcast, but as we get ready to wrap things up, spotlight, which is going to throw the microphone over to you, Mr. Wilson. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out the social media sites, let everyone know, what's going on with you, anything you would like to let the people know or even vent about. The time is yours, my friend.
So, guys, thanks for having me back again. I've really enjoyed it. Try and tune in to my fight on Sunday afternoon. It's 4 o'clock in UK time. I'm not sure what it'll translate for you. I'd like to thank all my training partners: Warren Reardon, Fraser Matthews, John Brennan, Andy Joyce, for all your help throughout my camp. I'd like to thank all of my sponsors. As you can see, I have a few. Those of you that do tune in and watch the big overhand right come. That's how I'm going to win. It's going to be an overhand right and a left hook. Guys, thank you very much for having me back.
It is always a pleasure having you on here, Stanelee. We'll definitely have you back on here. Win, lose, or draw. You're always fun to talk to, my friend. Best of skill. Sunday night. Get that KO. I don't want to see any gloves or any paraphernalia being laid down in the ring Sunday night, my friend.
I just want to reiterate something from the last time I was on. I am still the best 5'6" heavyweight in the world.
All right, Stanelee. Appreciate the time, my friend. You have a good one. Get some sleep, get some rest, get that fucking victory, my friend.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much, brother.
All right. All right, fam. That was three exceptional people in their own rights. Burt Watson, Brendan Allen, Stanelee Wilson. Two bare knuckle boxers, literally from the other sides of the pond. Stanelee from over there in the UK, Mr. Allen down there in Florida, and Burt Watson. We literally talked all corners of combat sports tonight on the Wanna Fight About It podcast. Went a little bit over it. Gonna have to get a little bit better at that, but some fun conversations, some fun things to talk about. Interesting things moving forward. Stay tuned, guys. We will be back next week here at the Fantasy Sports Corporation. Wanna Fight About It podcast. I'm Steve. We will see you next week.